Hey, what's up? My name is Alejandro Urquijo. I'm a student of Business and International Relations at La Salle University, and I'm gonna talk about different educational systems in the world, specifically in Japan, Finland, and Singapore. I would like to start by mentioning that it is important to talk about the Japanese educational system because it is one of the most relevant and most different in the world. For example, the educational year begins in April and finish in March. Here in Colombia, it is totally different because it begins in February and ends in November. An interesting aspect of Japanese education is that in kindergartens, ranging from 3 to 5 years old, the cost depends directly on the income of the parents. That is, if you receive more money, you have to pay more money. There isn't a fixed fee for all students. On the other hand, primary education in Japan lasts 6 years, secondary schools last 3 years, high school also lasts 3 years, and finally university lasts an average of 4 years. An important factor in education is that after you are 15 years old in Japan, you can decide whether to continue studying or go to work. That is, after finishing the high school, you can decide whether to continue or not. Japanese students have to attend 6-hour classes from Monday to Saturday, only in the morning. The classrooms have a large number of students, approximately 40 students, which can be considered quite a lot. But if we take into account of students, the discipline of their students, the order, it is possible that the classes are very good and the disorder is not seen. Finally, the classes in Japan focuses on the formation of values and respect for the rules and discipline. There isn't a focus on intelligence and analysis, but only on discipline and constant work. Now, let's talk about the educational system in Finland. This country is very different in terms of global educational system. Still, it is one of the best educational systems in the world. This country doesn't have standardized tests to measure the students or the schools, since they consider everyone to be good and competent, and say that the real winners do not compete, but the real winners cooperate. One particularity is that the students have at 75 minutes to recess, which focuses on play, focuses on recreation, and emotional learning. Finland schools generate learning options that are directly related to the interest of the student, so that each one of them develops the skills that they like the most and which they feel best with this subject. From primary education, this system doesn't focus on reading, writing, maths, or science, but rather emphasizes in creative play that promotes the health and well-being of the students. On the other hand, Finland students do not have homework. Children outside of schools must play, share, and enjoy their life with their friends or their family, which is why Finland education has the shortest years and days of school. Another peculiarity is that students have the same teacher for 6 years in order to generate trust scenarios. Finally, the state is the one that finances all the schools, generating an egalitarian society with use the same opportunities for all. Finally, we will talk about the Singapore educational system, which is one of the most developed and modern countries in the world. It is located in the best position of academic performance, obtaining the best results in the test. surprising the countries already mentioned, like Japan and Finland. One of the factors that generates this great success is the participation of the state, which allocates 20% of its budget to the education and development of the students, which is why most of the schools in Singapore are public. In Singapore, children start study at the age of 6 in primary education, where they last until they are 12 years old. After that, in secondary school, they study until they are 16 years old. By law, all children have the obligation to go to school. Otherwise, your parents will go to the jail. This education system is totally different from the Finland system, since children who get the best grades can go to the best universities, and those who do not have a good grades can go to the university with a lower level, which generate in the students stress to achieve the best results. Finally, the main objective of education in Singapore is for students to become professionals capable of meeting the requirements of companies, especially those related to technology and research. Regarding the difference in the educational system in these three countries, we can see that the three have a totally different methodology. On the Japanese side, they focus on the discipline and rigor of the educational processes, following a standard and being totally strict in complying with it. On the other hand, we have a country with a totally different system, such as Finland. In this case, students have time to have fun, enjoy, and share with their friends and family. There are no rules that condition the students or their academic performance. Finally, we have a Singapore that shares several things with the two previous countries. For example, there is also a rigor in student training, but there is progress and focus on student well-being. The particularity of this country is that it always think about the development, and students are trained to continue with technological innovation, which is important to this country. To finish, it is important to understand that in Colombia, the educational system is totally different from the previously mentioned countries, and that the results for our country are much lower than the other countries, which is why it is necessary to implement new system and new method to improve the quality of education in Colombia. In Colombia, innovative and creative development is prevalent in schools, so new measures must be implemented so that the students can develop their skills based on their tasks or their preference. On the other hand, public spending on education is quite low compared to the other countries, which indicate that access to high quality education is complex for Colombian citizens. This may be one of the reasons that there is a high rate of illiteracy in Colombia. Implementing the models of other countries is quite complex of Colombia if you don't have the support of the state. That is, if we want to improve the educational system, an educational reform is necessary that considers the well-being and the interest of the student and not of the state. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great day.